Hi guys, Ron here and welcome to the workshop for another time trialing update. So this past weekend I've done my first time trial this year, and to be honest it went better than expected. So this was a very fast and short 15-kilometer completely flat time trial, also no there and back, just in one direction AB course with a cross tailwind. So it was quite fast, but not as fast as in previous years. So I averaged around 318 watts for the course, which is a lot more than I was expecting, to be honest. Particularly regarding the training that I've done, which was a lot less than in previous years, but maybe that's exactly why it worked. And to be honest, I underpaced it a little bit because I didn't know what I was going to be able to do. And then as I was ramping the pace throughout the course, the last 10 minutes were at around 325, 330 watts average. So yeah, with hindsight I probably would have been able to hold that for the whole duration of the 18 or so minutes. So that's pretty good. I almost managed to crack 50 km per hour average, so that's also quite good. However, this was good enough only for second place at this point because, yeah, the competition is a lot stiffer than it used to be in previous years. A lot of people are trying to focus on time trials now, which I'm happy about, to be honest. It makes the competition a lot more interesting and exciting. So that's all well and good. I've done some CDA analysis of the file backwards, so that's a lot better than what I've had before. And this power output is also on my previous higher levels, so maybe not an all-time best, but getting there. And since I've done very little in terms of intensity still, most of it was base work, I think I can pump that number up even more towards the nationals. So that's all well and good. You can see the race setup that I had here, almost with the exception of the front tire. So yeah, nothing really changed since the last testing session that we've done on the bike, except I had to change the rear GP5000 TT TR tire because it won't have passed the UCI credit card test. So the gap, as I shown you probably in an earlier video, was extremely small. And then, according to basically all tests, these Vittoria tires should be faster, but I only had the rear one available. I also had the front ones for the 26mm ones in order, but they only came today, so that's what I have fitted. So now it's matching, although clashing quite a bit with the red accents of this UAE paint job I'm not a big fan of. So that's what it is. The tires are still set up tubed, so we can do some back-to-back tests with the Continentals to see how do they perform in terms of aerodynamics as well and the overall speed. You can see that Stefan is pretty speedy up there already. So yeah, that's still up to be decided. As I said, pretty much all the data says that these are faster than the Continentals, but somehow I just prefer those. So I need to see some hard data on that of myself to convince myself. Regarding the crankset, I had to actually do a bit of a modification. So previously I complained that in the biggest gears, on the tallest gears, the chain is catching on the inside lip of the crank insert. Maybe we can show this more closely. So I had to file this off, smooth it out, and now it works perfectly. There's no lip here anymore. Although in the 6011 it still catches slightly, as you can see from the wax buildup right here on the crank arm, which is not usual, but yeah, there it goes. And then, as you can see, I have also cut off the last two threads of the pedal spindle. So yeah, now it's much more usable, although obviously you're not going to use the 6011 all that often. But I think for this fast course I would have preferred the bigger chainring. But yeah, that's still on order and still to be tested. I try to limit myself in cadence to around 90, so then my heart rate doesn't go up through the roof, and it's also better aerodynamically. And for that lower cadence you need taller gear to preserve the same speed. So that's the reasoning behind that. And also, you know, larger diameter, better efficiency, although at these big sizes I don't think that matters too much anymore because it's diminishing returns. So yeah, that's the bike part, and yeah, I still have quite a lot of things noted down that I want to test before the nationals. So I have Rudy Project Wing Dream helmet on order, which is really on trend, along with the Giro helmet. So a lot of people claim that it's even better than the Giro one. So we're definitely going to try that. As for the Giro helmet, I have ordered a spare visors so I can have this one cut away, or the bottom part at least, which should enable me to get into my preferred position with this helmet. It will be interesting, of course, to see if then it can be faster than my casque helmet, which I've been using for a while now. Then another thing that I got on for testing is this cycling ceramic oversized pulley wheel cage. Some pro teams have been done testing on this, and supposedly this is the only oversized pulley wheel cage that is aerodynamic better than the standard Dura Ace one. As you can see right now, I have the ceramic speed one on there. The standard one is of course a lot smaller, which is usually a good thing when it comes to aerodynamics. So I've never actually tested this. I wonder if we'll be able to even test this with the equipment outdoors, or maybe on the track, because I'm pretty sure that the differences here will be very small. But yeah, that's why these tests exist, so we can prove something maybe. So this will be quite interesting, I think. Then another thing I wanted to share were the changes that I've done to my clothing. So I've been using Rule 28 clothing for, well, this is the third year now really, and I've really been happy with their products. So for this year I got some new stuff from their Neo range. This is the latest double layer construction. In the earlier years, or the early days of this technology, you had kind of a base layer that you had to wear under a smooth skin suit, which provide the aerodynamic effect, mostly on the shoulders and upper arm. Nowadays, these are integrated even into socks and overshoes, and it's done this way to actually prevent misalignment of the pattern, so that improves performance and makes it more consistent. They've just worked on the materials, the textures, etc., so it's all a little bit better, which we have tested compared to last year's kit. Indeed is better. So using the new overshoes and skin suit, dropped my CDA from 0.170 to 0.166 based on this change at race speed of around 50 km per hour. So that's a decent saving. I'm really happy with that. Unfortunately, I can't show you the skin suit now because it's in the wash, but I have another pair of overshoes. And to be honest, this is a thing that was a bit problematic with previous Rule 28 models, as I had, and a lot of you had, problems with them slipping down. Nowadays, it's no zipper, and you can just pull them up, and then you put a shoe on, and the bottom side stretches over the shoe. So firstly, this is probably an easier way to wear them, and secondly, because there's no zipper, actually the whole upper is very flexible, so it stays on for hours, even when your legs are sweating, when it's hot, and you don't need sock glue anymore. So this for me is an extremely big improvement, and something that I'm really happy with, that they have addressed this issue. Otherwise, the performance, as I said, is definitely there. So that's the kit. As I said, the helmet is still under investigation, along with the tires. So this is what we're going to do. And there's probably one last thing that I want to show you today, and that's this thing. As you can see, this is a SRAM Red AXS power meter chainring, which in combination with the Kratos Crankset would be an extremely neat and cool looking thing. And this was my initial plan, to use this together on the bike. I'm sure many of you will object that since this is a SRAM chainring, it won't really work with the Shimano chain, which is a valid objection. But I decided to try it regardless, because there's a huge amount of aftermarket options that really work with both, even though they aren't stated as such. So I decided to risk it, give it a go. And yeah, the reason that it's not on the bike is because it doesn't work, perhaps unsurprisingly, but yeah, I wanted to try it. Maybe it would work actually, with time it will break in, but the tooth profile actually catches on the chain maybe a bit too much, so it's kind of loud and messy, and I just didn't want to force it because it's a brand new thing, and you know, there's demand for these. I'll just put it back into stock in the shop. So yeah, if you're interested in one of these, then we have them. It's quite a rare item actually. This is a 60, so it's now in stock and available unridden. So that's a bummer. I was really hoping that this would work, and I also have been waiting for this for more than 2 months. So back to the standard D4 setup, but I have some different chain rings coming for that to test also. Maybe we can improve that a little bit, even though this carbon TI chainring is pretty cool and works really well, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much it regarding the upgrades and the future upgrades. So if you want to see the outcomes of those, of course, then stay tuned for future videos. And if you're interested in optimizing your own setup via aero testing, or just all of the aforementioned parts, and want to improve your performance, then of course we can help you out with that, even with a custom bike build like this one. Yeah, you can reach us via the links below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.